y'all, I'm Elisa and I am the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I have a Cricut tutorial video for you. One of the biggest reasons people are interested in Cricut, and specifically the Cricut Explorer Air 2, is creating labels for all the things in their house, for your kitchen and laundry room and kids room. And if you have seen my craft room tours, you know that I am all about labels. And when I got my Cricut Explorer Air 2, I remade a lot of my labels using the Cricut and using the vinyl that's available to cut with the Cricut, and it has been awesome. In order to create your own labels, though, you do have to have experience and knowledge on how to work with different fonts in Cricut Design Space. So that is exactly what our tutorial is on, some of the basics of how to work with fonts and change them up in Cricut Design Space. Let's go. Okay, the first thing you want to do when you open your Cricut Design Space is to start a new project, clicking over here, and you will see the text tool over on the left, the T for text, and that is an easy way to add text into your project. So I'm going to click the text tool, and you can see it comes up right down here, and I can just type whatever I would like. We'll start with "so happy." Just like that, and then I'm going to move it just up a little bit so it's a little bit easier to see, and it will always revert to the Cricut Sans text. This is the most basic way for entering text. You could do this and just type in all of your labels and that be that. Let's talk about, though, how you can work with this text and customize it for your needs. Okay, the first thing that you might want to try to do is to change the font for your text. So over here on the left, you can see font, and you just click this little arrow, and there are literally hundreds of fonts available. You can scroll through them. It feels like 4 days, and they give you an example of what it looks like. Now, something to take into account. Over here, as you look at the fonts, you see them layered or labeled single layer cutting, or some of them have single layer cutting writing, which means it will involve a pen. Multi-layer cutting is there. So you want to look at what the cutting process is. Again, this one is multi-layered cutting. You want to check that out before you choose, just depending on what you are looking for. For instance, if I choose this one, Cindy Lou multi-layer cutting. Now, this one will create 2 different layers because it has this colored embellishment on it. So when I click make it over here, you can see that it has both layers. So that's going to be a layered look. And I just want to make sure that that is what I want before I click on that. I'm going to choose something just a little bit simpler. Maybe something, nope, not like that. Changing it up. That one is pretty cute. Let's keep looking. There we go. I like that one a lot. So I have my phrase, so happy, the font that I like, and now I can choose some other options. Something else to consider, this one has just a regular style. There are fonts that will have an ability to bold or italicize, so that comes up, that will change depending on the font that you've chosen. You can choose a standard font size that we know. 72 is approximately 1 inch, so you can take that into account. You can make it bigger and smaller based on that. So I can do 144. Oops, let's try that again. Click this, do 144, press enter, and now you can see it's much larger. So that is one way to change the font size. The other way would be to click this bottom corner right here, and of course drag it to smaller or happier, and you can see the measurement guides, and especially when you're making labels, you're going to want to pay attention to those to make sure that your font fits on what you are intending to label. Something else to consider when you are changing the size of your font is whether or not you want the width and the height to be relative to each other. If you do, then just make sure that this is locked. If you click unlock right there. Now I can change my font to be skinnier. I can make it longer, just dependent on how I want it to look. If I click that lock again, then it is stuck with those proportions, and now it just gets bigger and smaller, but the proportions stay the same. Okay, you can see that I have switched fonts now. I'm still working with my So Happy phrase. Something else you may want to be able to adjust is the letter spacing. So the letter spacing box is right here, and you can click the arrows and the letters either get closer together if you click down and make it a smaller space, or if you click the up arrow, you can adjust it and the space between the letters gets larger. Now you may want to adjust the space down. I'm going to press 0.5 and see how close. They're very close, but maybe you want them touching. The reason you might want them touching is if you wanted them to cut out as a single cut. So instead of, for instance, for the word so, instead of 3 separate letters, maybe you just want this as one cut. So what you need to do is make sure that the letters are touching. Same thing over here, they are touching. And then you're going to click this button right down here that says weld. When you click that, now it is one solid piece instead of 3 separate cuts. Another way to possibly weld your words together is to separate the letters instead of all being grouped together, to separate them. You can click over here, it says advanced, and you can say ungroup to letters right there. So now you can see, now I have all of these letters listed individually. If I go back and press undo, you can see that they were listed as one complete group. But what I want to do is have them separated like this. And now I can click and adjust each letter. So maybe I want to manually place them because I want it to be kind of a wonky So Happy. So I might want to put my A up here, put one of my P's down low, one up high. This one would have to overlap just a little bit more right here. And this is fun to adjust, especially for card making, so that you can kind of make your own arrangement. So that will work. I have them all touching in some way. What I want to do is click and select all of these and then hit weld. And now you can see that it's all going to be together. It'll be one solid cut. And the way you can tell that is if I change the color, there, you don't see any of the black lines. There is one right there, so that might be something to go back and fix, but otherwise that will be consistent. Another reason that you may want to separate your letters or your font is because you might want each letter to be a different color. So I can come through here. Let's start with this one, and I can make each of these a different color. Now, why would I want to have them all? Why does it matter to have them all a different color here on Design Space? Because it will separate out for you and show you what color is what and what letter is what, so you don't have to worry about planning it out on your mat. You can just select the colors you're working with and it will work for you. So let me just finish with the selection. We'll wrap it around right to the beginning. So I have all of them different colors. When I click Make It, you can see that it sorts it out into the different mats for me so that I don't have to worry about what color is going where and separating it out in that manner. Okay, there is one more thing that I want to show you, actually 2 more tools. First of all, you have your classic alignment tool right here. Works just like in word processing, where you can align your text to the left, the center, or the right. That, of course, makes a bigger difference if you are adding additional text and additional lines. So you can, let me just add a little bit of text right here. So in this case, I have it and I can align it to the center so that it sets up like that. So that's a basic alignment tool. We've all used those in word processing documents before. Another tool that you can see when you click on your text is this curve tool. So you can click your curve and you can change this right here, and you can see it's going to curve my letters around, which is super fun. You can change it, and depending on what you're labeling, you may want to have a bit of a curve. If you're labeling on a curved surface, it might be easier to have it on a curve just so that it lays a little bit flatter. Also, once you're at this point, say you want your circle bigger, you can adjust the letter space here, and you can see it's going to start making my circle bigger, 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 bigger as it comes around. Okay, I hope you found those tips helpful. That should be more than enough information to really get started working with fonts in Cricut Design Space. Hopefully it gives you some insight into how to start creating all of those labels that we are all so excited about, or maybe creating phrases and words for shirts and other projects that you might have around the house. Thank you so much for joining me for this Cricut tutorial. As always, supplies are linked down below. If you are looking to get your very own Cricut Explorer Air 2, check out those links. I really appreciate it. Also, if there are questions that you have, something that you've been interested in trying with your Cricut or in Cricut Design Space and you're not sure how to do it, make sure to send me a message. Let me know in the comments below and I can help you out. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. I hope that you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.